Hi, my name is Travis Alber. I run a startup out of New York City called ReadSocial, and ReadSocial adds paragraph-level conversations into content. When you think about how people discuss things on the web, it hasn't really changed very much in the last 15 years, which is strange because the rest of the web has changed entirely. We still read a blog post and we get all the way to the end and we leave a comment, or we talk about things totally divorced from the content out on Facebook and Twitter. But I think contextual discussions are really important, and I think that's the direction that the rest of the web is moving. So we've built ReadSocial. As I mentioned, ReadSocial adds paragraph-level conversations into content. So when a publisher integrates our API, users can attach a comment. That can be an image, a piece of text, or a link to the paragraph, and then other people can come through and respond. We also have groups, and we use hashtags for groups, so they're entirely open. That's really flexible. Instead of actually inviting somebody via email address or a social network, instead it depends on your interest graph. You just pick a hashtag. A hashtag can be the title of a book, it can be an author, it can be a subject like the economy, it can be any number of things like a classroom. And once you start using that, anyone else who knows what the hashtag is can contribute to the conversation. We're an API. We have a couple open source clients for the web, ebooks, and iPad. But we also, since we're an API, allow people to build completely on top of what we're doing. And people can log in through Facebook, Twitter, and Google. So if you imagine this for a second, I can actually be reading an O'Reilly book that I bought in an iPad app, and I can annotate that using ReadSocial. I can log in through Facebook or whatever. And my friend can be reading it on a web page in an HTML5 reading system. They can log in through Twitter or something, and we can actually have a conversation inside this book. It breaks everything out of the silos. It enables publishers to own the relationship with their users. I think it's really powerful and really exciting. Our revenue model, we're an API, so we charge for authenticated users. So we charge the publisher when a comment is made, not when a comment's read. Usually that's 5 to 20% of your audience will make a comment, depending on the subject matter and the exact audience. As far as competition, there isn't really anyone doing this API contextual approach. There are some people who have apps that are standalone apps where you can talk about things inside the book. There are a couple systems that will allow you to add notes to a URL. And there are a couple startups that do clipping services where you can take a little bit of what you've read and post it on a web page somewhere and talk about it. Those are all entirely different than what we're doing. We're actually adding the conversation back into ebooks and websites. And since we track content, specifically track the text, that can live wherever that content goes. So if you release your content through multiple sources, that conversation follows it. We think it's really exciting. You can see more about it at readsocial.net. Thanks.